Hello students, my name is S.S. Shipra, working as a Program Officer, National CSR Hub, Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Mumbai. I will be discussing about the module on adolescent male reproductive health. Adolescent period represents change from childhood to adulthood. The World Health Organization, WHO, defines adolescents as those people between 10 and 19 years of age. The great majority of adolescents are therefore included in the age-based definition of child adopted by the Convention on the Rights of the Child as a person under the age of 18 years. Other overlapping terms used are youth, defined by the United Nations as 15 to 24 years, and young people 10 to 24 years, a term used by WHO and others to combine adolescents and youth. While these terms are sometimes used interchangeably and may be defined differently in different countries, with adolescence, for example, starting at 12 years or youth continuing into the mid-30s, when data on youth or young people are included, this is usually because available data may be aggregated in ways that do not distinguish the adolescent years specifically. Adolescence is a period of life with specific health and developmental needs and rights. It is also a time to develop knowledge and skills, learn to manage emotions and relationships, and acquire attributes and abilities that will be important for enjoying the adolescent years and assuming adult roles. All societies recognize that there is a difference between being a child and becoming an adult. How this transition from childhood to adult is defined and recognized differs between cultures and over time. In the past, it has often been relatively rapid, and in some societies, it still is. In many countries, however, this is changing. The period between childhood and adulthood is growing longer and more distinct. At the same time, key social transitions to adulthood are postponed until well after biological maturity. Young people spend more years in education and training. Their expectations have changed. Male adolescents' sexual and reproductive health needs often go unmet in the primary care setting. Pediatricians are encouraged to address male adolescent sexual and reproductive health on a regular basis, including taking a sexual history, performing an appropriate examination, providing patient-centered and age-appropriate anticipatory guidance, and delivering appropriate vaccinations. Pediatricians should provide these services to male adolescent patients in a confidential and culturally appropriate manner, promote healthy sexual relationships and responsibility, and involve parents in age-appropriate discussions about sexual health with their sons. Addressing male teenagers' sexual or reproductive health includes, but is not limited to, preventing STIs and HIV. Healthcare providers require the knowledge, skills, and confidence to screen and examine male adolescents and discuss with them and provide appropriate education about the scope of sexual or reproductive health care for male adolescents. Core male adolescent sexual or reproductive health knowledge areas. A. Puberty. With pubertal changes and the development of reproductive capacity, some questions and concerns. Puberty for male adolescents follows a predictable sequence, but clinicians need to be aware that its timing is variable because of a variety of factors, including heredity and race or ethnicity. For boys, the first visible sign of puberty and the hallmark of the second sexual maturity range, SMR stage and SMR2, is testicular enlargement followed by penile growth. The hallmark of SMR3 during SMR4, a male's testicular volume has reached. Approximately 9 to 10 centimeter and its peak height growth typically occurs. B. Alterations in growth associated with puberty. Early and delayed pubertal timing, including short stature, can result in negative consequences for the developing male. Consequences can include higher mean levels of aggression and delinquency. Earlier, maturing boys might have more frequent involvement in risk-taking behaviors, and later maturing boys might have lower levels of confidence and self-efficacy and increased experiences of teasing, bullying, mental health issues, and substance abuse. Even a common issue such as acne, which affects 95% of male adolescents, can be related to self-reported embarrassment, lower self-esteem, depression, and anxiety. Given the frequency of these growth and developmental concerns, the typical practicing healthcare provider will certainly see male patients with one or more of these disorders. C. Sexuality. Although sexuality can be experienced and expressed in thoughts, fantasies, desires, beliefs, values, behaviors, roles, and relationships, not all sexuality dimensions are experienced or expressed. One's sexuality is also influenced by a variety of factors, including biological, psychological, familial, societal, political, cultural, and religious factors. Before adolescence even begins, boys might be curious and ask questions about sex, body parts, differences between boys and girls, and where babies come from. Male and adolescent should be encouraged to talk with their healthcare provider about general health and in particular sex relationships and prevention of STIs or HIV and pregnancy. Male adolescents cite their mothers, doctors, and nurses as their principal resources for general healthcare concerns and cite doctors and other healthcare providers as one of their top 4 sources of sexual health information, inclusive of parents, health classes, and television. Schools, media, and the internet can also play important roles in the provision of sexual health information. D. Sexual development. During adolescence, teenagers begin the process of developing a sexual self-concept, which involves the combination of physical sexual maturation, age-appropriate sexual behaviors, and formation of a positive sexual identity and sense of well-being. In early adolescent, boys might become preoccupied with body changes, become interested in sexual anatomy and sex, compare changes in their body with others, and explore touching and mutual masturbation. Along with the experience of spontaneous erections, ejaculation related to masturbation, and the onset of nocturnal ejaculatory events during sleep, that is wet dreams, there are many reasons why pre-adolescent and older boys might have questions and anxieties about their emerging sexuality. Masturbation and spermacea. Before puberty, boys might masturbate to orgasm. However, no ejaculation will occur until pubertal changes commence. Sperm in the ejaculate or spermacea typically appears during SM3. Approximately 12 to 18 months after the tests begin to enlarge, although mature sperm production begins after the first ejaculate, a young man should be considered fertile from the time of his first ejaculation. Healthcare providers can reassure male adolescents that self-masturbation is a normal behavior and can be a positive expression of sexuality and a way to delay having sex and its associated risks. Healthcare providers can also assist male adolescents with information and resources about normal sexual physiology and function that might not otherwise be available at home or school. F. Sexual behavior and its consequences. Male adolescents also report an earlier change of sexual debut and more sexual partners than female adolescents, which are factors known to be associated with STIs acquisition risk. Discordance between sexual attraction or orientation and behavior is also possible because one's sexual attraction and identity do not always predict sexual behavior. G. Unwanted sex. Many male adolescents and young adults are unaware of state laws on statutory rape and resultant consequences. Although these punitive measures attempt to force people to change their sexual or reproductive health behavior, there are few data to support that such laws are effective deterrents. H. Dating violence. Violence in adolescent relationships can include bullying, threatening, sexual harassment, dating violence, and or coercion. Within the context of intimate relationships among romantic and sexual partners, such violence can be verbal, emotional, physical, or sexual. Male adolescents can be perpetrators, victims, or both. I. Sexual function and dysfunction. Healthy sexual function has an important role in adolescents and young adults' well-being and development. Common causes of sexual dysfunction among young adult men include anxiety about performance, premature ejaculation, worries about attractiveness during sex, decreased pleasure associated with condom use, and organic performance-related issues attributable to comorbid medical conditions, example diabetes, cardiac disease, neurologic deficits, or adverse effects from medication. J. STIs or HIV, pregnancy and adolescent fatherhood. Involvement in sexual behaviors places young men and their partners at risk of negative sexual or reproductive health outcomes that are preventable, such as STIs, HIV infection, unintended pregnancy, and reproductive health related cancers such as anal cancer attributable to human papillomavirus HPV. K. Preventing STIs or HIV infection and pregnancy. The male adolescent and his partner, family, school, and healthcare provider all have important roles in preventing the negative consequences of sexual behavior. L. Male adolescents' sexual or reproductive healthcare use. Male adolescents' use of sexual or reproductive healthcare services remains low for a variety of reasons. For many, the onset of sexual behavior during adolescence serves as a rite of passage into manhood but does not trigger thinking about preventive behaviors related to the consequences of sexual behavior. Young men might also hold more traditional masculine beliefs that pre-include them from seeking care despite having symptoms. In addition, the components of young men's sexual or reproductive health care have been poorly defined and have historically received little attention. Unlike females who have historically received bundled sexual or reproductive health care as part of gynecologic examinations, birth control visits, and prenatal care, this is not typically true for young men. Barriers to care can also play a role in male adolescents' care seeking in general and sexual or reproductive health care in particular. These barriers include fear, stigma, shame, denial, lack of social support, lack of confidential services, lack of healthcare insurances, options especially as they get older, and not knowing where to go for care. Given the asymptomatic nature of many STIs, including HIV infection, strategies are needed to raise young men's awareness about sexual or reproductive health services, STI and HIV testing options, and related resources. Promoting sexual or reproductive health for young men can lead to sexual responsibility, health, intimate relationships, and responsible fatherhood. Healthcare providers and pediatricians in particular are in the best position to deliver high quality sexual or reproductive healthcare services to male adolescents and should view even follow up acute care, and immunization visits as opportunities to address these health issues. Healthcare providers can also use clinical hooks such as sports physicals or acne follow-up to keep male adolescents engaged in care and to deliver sexual or reproductive healthcare services. In boys, it is difficult to know exactly when puberty is coming. There are changes that happen, but they happen gradually over a period of time rather than as a single event. There are specific stages of development that boys go through when developing secondary sexual characteristics. The following is a brief overview of the changes that happen. In boys, the initial puberty change is the enlargement of the scrotum and testes. At this point, the penis does not enlarge. Then, as the test and scrotum continue to enlarge, the penis enlarges. The initial growth of pubic hair produces long, soft hair that is only in a small area around the genitals. This hair then becomes darker and coarser as it continues to spread. The pubic hair eventually looks like adult hair but in a smaller area. It may spread to the thighs and sometimes up the stomach. The following are additional changes that may happen to the male as he experiences the changes of puberty. His body size will increase with the feet, arms, legs, and hands, sometimes growing faster than the rest of the body. This may cause the adolescent boy to experience a time of feeling clumsy. Some boys may get some swelling in the area of their breasts as a result of the hormonal changes that are happening. This is common among teenage boys and is usually a temporary condition. Talk with your adolescent healthcare provider if this is a concern. Voice changes may happen. As the voice gets deeper, sometimes the voice may crack. During this time, this is a temporary condition and will improve over time. Not only will hair begin to grow in the genital area, but males will also experience hair growth on their face, under their arms, and on their legs. As the hormones of puberty increase, adolescents may experience an increase in oily skin and sweating. This is a normal part of growing. It is important to wash daily, including the face. Acne may develop. As the penis enlarges, the adolescent male may begin to experience erections. This is when the penis becomes hard and erect because it is filled with blood. This is due to the hormonal changes and may happen when the body fantasizes about sexual things or for no reason at all. This is normal. During puberty, the male's body also begins making sperm. Semen, which is composed of sperm and other bodily fluids, may be released during erection. This is called ejaculation. Sometimes this may happen while the male is sleeping. This is called a nocturnal emission or wet dream. This is a normal part of puberty. Once sperm is made and ejaculation happens, adolescent males are able to reproduce. The adolescent years bring many changes, not only physically but also mentally and socially. During these years, adolescents increase their ability to think abstractly and eventually make plans and set long-term goals. Each child may produce at different rates and show a different view of the world. In general, the following are some of the abilities that may be evident in your teenager. Developing the ability to think abstractly, concerns with philosophy, politics and social issues, thinking long-term, setting goals, comparing oneself to one's peers. India is a country where an overwhelming majority of its people, including adolescents, lives in peri-urban and rural areas. In Indian society, especially in peri-urban and rural areas, reproductive and sexual health matters remain a hidden agenda and people feel uncomfortable discussing these issues openly. In order to develop better sexual and reproductive health, both government and non-government organizations, NGOs, have to be mindful of the needs of the large number of adolescents in peri-urban and rural areas. It is commonly thought the people living in peri-urban areas, geographic areas circling or joining large metropolitan cities, have better socio-economic conditions than their rural counterparts in terms of educational level, occupational types, exposure to the modernity of life, and communication systems. Consequently, awareness of health in general and reproductive health in particular should be better among peri-urban populations than rural population. In particular, holding traditional attitudes toward masculinity, such as placing great importance on being tough, not acting like a girl, and getting respect, is associated with engaging in risky sexual behaviors. Although many adolescent males believe they should take responsibility for preventing pregnancy, they may not practice safer sex or seek medical care related to reproductive health. The context of adolescent male reproductive health is multi-layered and complex. Only by understanding the life and health priorities of these young men can we truly appreciate where issues regarding reproductive health fit within its larger context, and where and why they are secondary to issues of education, care, and family. Programs that wish to serve young men will need to integrate this understanding so that their outreach efforts and the types of services they offer reflect the adolescent male's perspective. The adolescent boys should be part of global health discussions about contraception, family planning, and sexual and reproductive health, as well as about the importance of education for boys and girls. Adolescents of both sexes need to understand the importance of delaying childbirth and how they can achieve this together. Effective programs can also recognize that gender roles and relations are intertwined with cultural, religious, economic, political, and social circumstances. They are based on the idea that gender relations are not static and can be changed. Ideas about manhood are deeply ingrained. From an early age, boys may be socialized into gender roles designed to keep men in power and in control. Many are conditioned to believe that dominant behavior towards girls and women is part of being a man. Risk-taking and aggressive sexual behavior on the part of young men are often applauded by peers and condemned by society on some level. These stereotypes result in harm to both women and men and erode possibilities of establishing satisfying, mutually respectful relationships. Boys and young men can be encouraged to reflect upon and discuss issues surrounding masculinity, relationships, and sexuality, which can contribute to the deconstruction of negative, high-risk, and sometimes harmful attitudes. UNFPA and partners supported the development of National Plan for the Involvement of Boys, which will be used to promoting gender equality issues. About 1/5 of India's population is in the adolescent age group of 10 to 19 years. It is estimated that there are almost 200 million adolescents in India ages 15 to 24. However, growth for this age group will peak at 223 million in 2015. Policymakers and planners have now realized that the adolescent population group has specific health and developmental needs. There is a growing understanding that adolescence is a bridge between childhood and adulthood. The newer focus on RCH also has been invigorated by the continuing realization of the importance of women's health. It is now widely accepted that if the health of women is to be improved, the health of the adolescent must be given high priority in Indian policy and program development and implementation. In Indian culture, it is not socially acceptable for parents to talk with children about sexuality and reproductive changes. Parents who could or should be the major source of information and preparation for the transition into adulthood have largely been uninvolved with educating their children. In most cases, mothers do not even talk to their daughters about menstruation. To encourage parents to talk on this role, there needs to be a focus on increasing awareness and strengthening the environment in which this becomes acceptable behavior. Adolescent male reproductive health occupies an important place since it has interrelation with female reproductive health. The regional, social, cultural, and economic variations occur among the adolescent males who belong to which category. The policies and programs which address all these issues should reach them to bring them as a good citizen for the development of the nation. Thank you.